Iron Man 3 is just days away, but who is the mysterious, malcontent madman known as the Mandarin? James Heyer and Enrique Ramirez investigate here on True Believers.
Good intro.
Thank you.
You're getting better.
Well, I used alliteration. I used to write for a living.
Oh, you used to.
Remember?
Yes. You were a, what do they call it?
A loser.
No. Tortured soul.
Tortured soul.
So we're coming off the Scott McMillan episode, which I think blew all of us away.
I just listened to that yesterday.
Yeah.
It was the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I thought you knew a lot about comics.
I do.
Scott knows. Is it possible to know too much?
Well, I would say that Scott actually terrified me because I had no idea he was that. I wouldn't even call him a nerd. At this point, he's like obsessed. I
think we should call him the human comic book. I think if he comes back on here, that's his name, the human comic book. I'm not going to tell him we talked about him. I'm going to see if he's actually listening.
Yeah, we'll call him out. We'll call his bluff. So, I really like that episode. We hope to get him again. See, he's working on he basically is a true believer. He's working on our website. He's going to be our webmaster. But we're going to try to get him as much as possible. And, of course, everyone's schedule is different, so it just kind of depends.
Oh, yeah. And it was a great episode. If you're listening to this and haven't heard the one before this, you need to go back and listen to it.
Yes, you'll learn absolutely nothing important. You won't grow as a human from...
Well, no, but you might digress to a child.
Maybe. Maybe something far worse.
Oh, no.
So anyway, Iron Man 3... Holy shit.
You were excited about this.
I'm super excited. Like, this...
I haven't seen you this excited since... I don't know when, but when the trailer came out, you were just nuts.
Yeah, I cried, actually. It looks so good. It's...
I guess what's the one thing that stands out that makes you think it's so good?
There's a lot of things. I really think that moment when all those people fall out of the plane... and he's doing his calculations with Jarvis to see how many people he can save. Well, first he's like, how many people are there? 7. How many people can I carry? 3. So it's like, I mean, already there's like a level of gravitas in this movie that I think was actually thoroughly missed in the second one. I think the first Iron Man, along with Dark Knight, if you remember, both of them came out that same summer. The first Iron Man really blew me away because I really was not an Iron Man fan before that.
I don't think anybody was, and that movie...
The only people, like, I know some people who... I know, like, one person who was an Iron Man fan, and he's, like, a Republican.
So he doesn't count. No,
he's, like, the ultimate Iron Man fan.
Yeah. Well, I think what was so important about that movie was that it was successful, that's why we have a Thor movie and a Captain America and an Avengers movie, and why they're doing so much more. If that movie would have bombed, like Daredevil or Punisher or Ghost Rider, we'd still be getting hokey B selection.
Well, prior to that, like there was kind of the beginning of this comic book renaissance. After we went through it had been decades since Superman and at least a decade since the last Batman, I think, something like that. We went a long time without any, and, no one really missed it at the time because the last couple Batmans were so awful that no one gave a shit. But really, with X-Men and Spider-Man, it really kind of kicked off. But when you think about it, out of the early part of the decade, out of the early part of the 2000s, you had the first 2 Spider-Mans, the first 2 X-Men, and Batman Begins. And that was it. The rest of the movies weren't any good. I mean, you had the Fantastic Four,
Electra,
the ones that, the ones
Catwoman.
Oh God, that's the worst.
Yeah. I think for
even Superman Returns wasn't very good.
It was
boring.
Yeah. Well, speaking of trailers, we're going to talk about the Iron Man 3 trailer. The Superman one came out, and I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
There's a new one out?
Yeah, there's a new Superman, Man of Steel, and the trailer just came out this past week or so.
Well, I meant there's a new trailer. I know
Oh,
there's
okay,
a
okay.
new
You saw the
movie.
trailer with when he's where Zod's screaming, and you actually get to see Zod in this one. Have you seen that one?
When did it come out?
Oh gosh, it was. I'll have to. It's been a couple weeks, maybe.
Okay,
maybe
I
a
saw
week
it
or
then.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it. I thought you were saying one just came out like yesterday. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
holy.
Well, the action scenes in that just blow Superman Returns away, and that's just the trailer. And I'm hoping that it's not because the Superman Returns movie seemed blocky. Like Superman was blocky.
Yeah.
He didn't have agility or something to him. He looked like a statue, man statue, or I don't know how to explain
If
it.
you look at it now, too, the special effects were fine when it came out, but they don't age well. Like you can really kind of
Oh, yeah.
the green screen effects really
Yeah.
do look pretty bad.
Goofy.
But yeah, for a while there, I really did think that that was just kind of a passing fad because even Spider-Man 3 was awful, X-Men 3 was awful, so I just thought it was a passing fad. We had 5 good movies out of all of them. That was good enough, and then Iron Man and Dark Knight came out the same year, and it was like, holy crap, like this is taking it to a new level.
People really, I think, woke up, or the studios.
They just started making better. Yeah,
Right. They went to the fans that are like comic book fans, not they're not trying to sell toys and kids. Now, granted, they did sell toys in comic books, but I think they really went for the older fan.
Well, I think I think they had. I don't know. They were kind of doing that before though with X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I think this is really for
I think
the
they
older
finally. I think what happened was
generation.
I think what happened was those movies, amidst all the crap, those movies were popular enough to get the studios to realize that you can make these serious.
Right. Well, let's talk about Iron Man 3.
Yes, let's talk about Iron Man 3.
Yes.
Yeah. So Iron Man 3. Okay, well, before we get there, I want to also point out there's a second movie in between these.
Yeah. And I know you didn't like that.
I don't hate it. It's not a bad movie, but it definitely.
It's not The Dark Knight, but it's also not Catwoman, is what you're saying.
There are things about it that are really good. Iron Man 2 does have some really cool things. Like I really like when he is rebuilding when he's building a new suit, and when he watches those old film reels of his dad.
Yeah.
Like that stuff is all really good. But I think overall there wasn't a whole lot of story involved. So like whenever you have like those great moments, you also have to string the rest of the movie along with like jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't really serious enough. It wasn't awful by any means. I can still watch
There were
it.
some good action scenes too when him and War Machine are in that fake park and they're mowing down.
Yeah.
That part was
pretty cool.
and I'd like to see more of that in this one. I hope. Which I think, looking at the trailer, there's a bunch of
Iron Man robots.
Iron Man robots.
Yeah.
So, and I've already seen toys for that. So, we'll see how that plays out. I guess.
So this movie, the first one is based on, the origin story. There's a little bit of demon in the bottle there. Remember, Scott said, and he said this accurately, that probably the only 2 Iron Man stories anyone cares about are, Demon in the Bottle, which is the one where Tony Stark becomes an alcoholic out of nowhere and loses his company to Obadiah Stane.
I like booze.
Obadiah Stane, played by Jeff Bridges in the first one. And the Extremis, which I guess this is going to be part of. I read Extremis. That was like a 2005 storyline. They updated his origin from no longer like being a prisoner in Vietnam, but being a prisoner in like Iraq or something like that, or Afghanistan. So they updated that. Other than that, I don't really remember a whole lot. I was just kind of skimming through it.
Which is somewhat surprising that they were able to, that movie became so popular.
People really like it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was just kind of skimming through it. It's pretty good. But Yeah, another thing about this movie is that it's not directed by Jon Favreau, although Jon Favreau does have a part in it. It's directed by Shane Black, which I think is a pretty good move, especially if Favreau
definitely.
knew he was starting to lose it with the second one. Like
Right.
bring in someone else for the third one, bring some fresh blood into it.
Which is good because he knows he needs to get out.
Yeah.
And keep that
And I mean,
fresh.
he's still in it. He's just not directing it. He's still
Right.
playing Happy Hogan.
Which I think a movie like that would be hard to direct because
Well-
you're trying so hard to please the fans.
Well, I think the biggest problem is like when at first it was just Iron Man, but with Iron Man 2, he had to consider, and I know I've read where he kind of said this, where he had to consider putting this in the Avengers as well, putting it in the same context as the Avengers. So I think that was like a real difficulty for him. So I think he did need some fresh blood.
Right.
But anyway, this one has the Mandarin.
Which I think people, what I've been reading, are very excited about.
They are.
Sir Ben Kingsley
Sir
playing.
Ben Kingsley.
And I read this today doing my research.
And by the way, great job on Blood Rain. that is just, that might be his greatest work
ever.
is Blood Rain.
Bravo.
Yes, forget that Gandhi crap.
Well, I was
Have you
reading.
ever seen Blood Rain?
No.
It's a Uwe
I
Boll
know
film.
exactly what it is.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Kingsley is just so bad in that movie.
It-
Everything is bad in that
You want to
movie.
talk about phoning it in? From what I read, is that was totally it.
You should watch it.
No, I
It's
shouldn't.
really awful.
No, and I will not tell anyone on
It
this
might be the
podcast.
best. It might be the best Uwe Boll film ever made.
That's
I've
saying
seen
something.
some others. I got about 10 minutes into Postal and couldn't finish that.
You outwent Postal.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's pretty bad. It's a really bad movie.
Well, I was going to say I did some research today, and people are already saying someone saw it, or a few people have seen
careful
it.
with spoilers. I don't want to know.
No spoilers
Okay.
here. They say that his performance can be equaled or matched to Heath Ledger as the Joker. So that's
Really?
out there. That is out there in
Really?
the internet.
I would believe it. I mean, he is one of the greatest actors of our time.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that, except for Blood Rain.
Well, I really think he just quit giving a shit when he actually found out who Uwe Boll was.
It's like, God,
It's like,
dang
just
it.
give me a fucking paycheck. Get me out of here. He's also going to be in Ender's Game. Do you know anything about Ender's Game?
not really.
I've never read it, but it's a science fiction novel written by Orson Scott Card, who apparently is one of the most awful human beings on earth. I think he's homophobic.
Are you related to him?
He's my dad, actually.
Okay.
But he's homophobic, and I don't know.
Well, that's not
stuff.
good.
I think he's a creationist too, and stuff like that. Which,
okay.
whatever. But
Ben
he's just an
Kingsley's going to
awful
be in
person.
his movie.
Yeah.
Good for
I
him.
might see it.
Ben Kingsley in it.
Why not?
I've got to see it.
But I really like the way the Mandarin looks too. I like how he's wearing those aviator sunglasses with the weird ass like karate gi or whatever,
Yeah.
or the kimono or whatever you call it.
The big old like kind of
Robe.
Lord of the Rings robe,
Yeah.
and he's got the rings on, and he's got his hair up in a pony. He's like dirty, but like he's got the beard and his hair's all.
He's dirty but smooth at the same
exactly.
time.
Like he probably like bags all sorts of chicks, and he probably smells like patchouli oil or something. I imagine.
Yeah. Pretty excited.
Yeah, I think it's very good. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know, because he isn't the Mandarin supposed to be of Asian descent, and Bean Kingsley looks more like either
Well, he's Indian, so it's okay.
Indian. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay,
It's
I didn't
close
know.
enough.
I didn't know.
It's close
You
enough.
know,
Well,
I
he's
didn't.
half Indian.
Okay, I didn't grow up
Close enough.
reading.
Now, the Mandarin is Chinese, but whatever.
Okay.
The Mandarin was a racist caricature anyway, so he was.
He's
He
not
was like-
American.
The Mandarin was basically this Fu Manchu. What do they call it? The yellow. There's a name. There's a name for it for these old Asian racial
okay, I know what you-
archetypes
yeah.
from back in the day. They call it like the yellow villain or something like that,
Yeah.
and it's totally racist.
Well, I think you can find, Three Stooges episodes and Looney Tunes episodes with
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
And Marvel, I guess,
I mean,
had
that's
to
just the
either
way
jump
it
in.
was
Yeah.
back then. I mean, whatever. But
What's funny is we don't see a lot of that in our cartoons now with who.
yeah, we don't see a whole lot of racism
Yeah.
anymore. In fact, I think we need it back.
Well, South Park's is trying.
Yeah.
There's a few bad.
Yeah,
Well-
that's a weird show when you think about it. All right.
But it's not in our comic books, and
Yeah.
we're not completely surrounded by who we're at war with and all sorts of.
Speaking of South Park, like that show, I just love how, there's the one you have the one episode where, it's kind of making fun of the Michael Richards fiasco.
Yeah.
We're not going to get too much into that, but Token's mad at Stan for what Stan's dad said on the air, and
Yeah.
and finally, and Stan keeps trying to apologize. And Token's like, just leave me alone. At the end of the episode, Stan's like, I think I get it now. It's that I don't get it, and I never will understand, and that's the way it is, and I'm sorry. And I thought, man, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
The next episode, maybe not the next episode, but like a year later, they did one at a water park. And it was the most racist thing against Mexicans. And it was like, now this is just flat out racist.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no message here.
I think you can do that to Mexicans because we don't care.
I think that shit
Most of
doesn't
us
make
don't.
any sense. I think one episode will they'll have like a point, and then the next one will totally just contradict it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure some Mexicans care. Like, you can't speak for everyone.
Oh, I can because I'm the one with the microphone right now.
Oh,
Boom.
oh,
Take that.
yes. Well,
Mexican leaders, whoever you are. Do we have any? I don't. Paul Rubio. Getting political. I'm sorry.
Jesus, political.
I know we made a vow not to do that on this show, but
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I'm sorry.
Thanks a lot.
I broke it again.
Thanks a lot. Nah, I'm kidding. So anyway, Gwyneth Paltrow's coming back as Pepper Potts. She was in the Avengers also.
Oh yeah.
She was one of the few. She was actually the only side character from Iron Man to make it.
Well, Coulson.
Oh yeah,
Agent Coulson.
But he's
well,
yeah.
right.
He was also in Thor too.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. My mistake.
And there was
Dr. Selvig from Thor
Yeah.
came back.
which it's a kind of. Do you ever get? Are you surprised that they do that?
What do
Or
you
that they
mean?
can get them to come back and reprise those roles, even though how small or big they are. Especially an actress like Gwyneth Paltrow, that's been, of course, bigger movies. I think it's surprising that they can get them to come back.
I think that these movies are making them enough money that they're gonna come back.
Right.
I
And
mean,
then they make money and then they go do an art film.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fine. Sorry, I'm all hyped up on
And Dr. Pepper,
Dr. Pepper and
Pop Rocks,
Pop Rocks and sinus medicine.
and Don Cheadle is coming back as James Rhodes, aka War Machine, aka in this one Iron Patriot. Remember, Don Cheadle wasn't in the first one.
Right. It was Terrence
Howard, yeah.
which I liked him in the first one, but Don Cheadle's a much better actor.
Yeah, that's the weird part is Don
Yeah.
Cheadle is a better actor, but for some reason I like Terrence Howard better.
Yeah.
And I
Maybe
don't
he's
know
too
why.
good for this role. Terrence Howard
There's
seemed to like.
something really.
Well, here's the thing: Don Cheadle's way too serious. Terrence Howard kind of seems like
He seems more
a
sidekick.
friend, but he
Yeah.
can be serious, but he's also a guy you want to hang out with.
Well, that's why he should have come back for the second one. Stupid idiot.
Yeah. Who's screwed up now?
Oh, he screwed up bad.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
Bad.
Idiot.
Excuse me.
Now,
Now, Iron Patriot. Here's a strange thing. The Iron Patriot thing actually comes from the recent comics. The Green Goblin from Spider-Man, started wearing an Iron Man suit and an American flag and
I
called himself
think
the
I remember
Iron
this,
Patriot.
yeah.
I've never read it. I think it's kind of odd that they brought a Spider-Man villain starts dressing up like Iron Man.
Well, there was a whole thing. There was, like, if I remember correctly, that, there was a Thor-like character with a Punisher shirt on.
Oh, really?
And then there was, like, a Spider-Man character with, like, a Daredevil mask or something. It was like that.
That's weird.
But I remember when they first, pictures of the Iron Patriot first surfaced, everyone thought it was Norman Osborn.
Oh, yeah. You mean in the
right,
movie?
In the movie.
That doesn't make sense.
Right. That's why, but, when pictures pop out, people start freaking out.
Dude, like, some of these fans online are just fucking morons.
Like to blow their wad before they even know what's going on.
And I love how everyone knows who would be perfect to play this role and that role. And everyone has, like, a fucking script already in mind.
Yeah.
That's just amazing.
Then they get pissed when it's not that way.
Start hosting a podcast that no one listens to.
Hey, we had 14 views the last one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good for us.
We had 80 on our first one.
Holy cow!
I know. We've gone downhill.
Thank you, everyone, for the.
I think a lot of people listened to the first one and were like, I'm not gonna listen to this.
God, I don't like their religious views.
Well, now they're not gonna like your views on Mexican Americans.
That's right. And they're not going to like this view is, why does the suit have to keep changing?
Yes.
Did you see? It's yellow now, from what I can understand.
They have to,
it seems like they introduce a new suit.
Well, for toys. But also that yellow suit, which is actually almost flesh-colored. It's kind of odd.
Maybe that's
is
why
actually,
I don't like it.
I think, the suit that he wore in the Extremist storyline.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't like it. I don't like that they have to keep changing it because then it seems like, and I still
like
the trailer.
it better than the triangle suit from the second one. And at the beginning of Avengers, that was like the best thing when they're like, at the end of Avengers, he puts on the new suit, and it's like, thank God we got rid of that god-awful triangle suit.
But it seems like most of the movie, and maybe this is part for each one, he has to deal with problems with the suit. Mm-hmm. Who cares? We want to see him fight.
How many cameras have you had to fix? How many times is your computer?
That shouldn't be the story, though. My story.
But I mean, his whole storyline is about technology.
Right, but how many times does it need to tweak the suit? And we need to see that
every time.
Well, like in the trailer or the clip I saw, like he's got a new suit, but his house is falling into the ocean. It's like, hurry. Suit online, and it's not online, and no. But what if he would have had his suit? Oh, I don't know. But maybe I haven't seen the movie yet, so maybe that's part of it, where he's getting the suit on, but then, in the good old days, he had to go to the bathroom and put the suit on. But now, it's coming to him. Yeah. So maybe that's I answered my own question.
Maybe I think you did.
That's what this podcast is. Enrique answers his own questions.
Let's see who else is in this.
I haven't read a lot.
Jon Favreau is coming back as Happy Hogan.
Look, Samuel Jackson's coming back, isn't he? He's signed up for like 9 or 10 of these movies.
Is he in this one though?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I would like to see
hold on to your butts. Oh, speaking of which, I did a couple weeks ago see Jurassic Park in theaters.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, I saw that movie. It's hard to believe. 20 years ago,
God,
I saw that movie in theaters when I was 9.
Oh God.
And it rocked my world. Like that movie. That was my favorite movie. Like I think when I was 10, I actually liked that movie more than Star Wars. Maybe.
Does it hold up today in 3D?
Yes. Okay. It looks fucking good.
Good.
It still looks good.
I think that's on the poster. James Hart looks fucking good. I do want to see it. Hopefully, it's still in theaters. I don't know. Because I want to take my kids to go see it.
Yeah. Because that movie. That's the great thing about that movie is it's a kids movie, but there are scenes in that movie
with
that
blood.
Are pretty scary.
Yeah.
Like when the T-Rex.
Eats that dude on the toilet.
Yeah. Well, that whole scene, there's it goes on for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's no music playing. Mm-hmm. And it's just this onslaught of him eating people and wrecking the car and attacking the kids. Yeah. And it's pretty, for a kid's movie, it's pretty brutal.
Oh, yeah.
And I really, really like it.
Like Bambi. you know.
Yeah, Bambi made me cry.
I don't want to talk about.
But yeah. So go see Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I will.
I mean, and I was thinking about it. They really don't make movies like that anymore. And as much as I love these superhero movies, I miss those old kind of big adventure movies.
Yeah,
like, even when they have them, like I don't know, like maybe Lord of the Rings or something. They're still different. Totally.
Right? No,
I mean,
exactly.
this
It's
was
the heroes. Well, no, that's something different. But
this was like a. I think Jurassic Park was the last of an era. Something that started with Jaws and had Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Aliens and Terminator.
because now you have computer technology that can do most of the hard work for you.
It does, and it kind of. I mean, you need it obviously because it looks good, but it also takes away some of the hard. I think.
Right, like the magic about Jaws is that was a real machine in the water that
Didn't even work, so you couldn't. So they didn't even show it.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly,
and it works.
And that's the funny part is, I think Steven Spielberg in those movies like that they make it work.
Yeah.
And I think that's catching lightning in a bottle or the magic or whatever is. They had a problem with the stupid, huge mechanical shark, but they made it work, and they made an awesome movie. Nowadays, you can spend a week in an edit bay and make it work to exactly the way you want.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that ruins it.
Yeah. Well, like I watched Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade this weekend. And then right after that, I started to watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I couldn't make it too far.
Yeah, I know.
But like as soon as I was like everything just kind of sucked. Like like he throws he throws these, which this doesn't make any sense, but he throws these pellets into the air, and they magnify and find the thing. Which what about like the metal that you're wearing or your watch or the fucking lights? I mean, why don't they get magnetized? But that's not the point. The point is though, like he throws these like pellets. And then they bounce in the air and then move.
Yeah.
So, and you could totally tell that they're just CGI. And, in the old days, they'd throw the pellets and then do a close shot of pellets being magnetized by something for real. And then go back to the wide shot. And, it just looks,
hokey.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I mean, it was a cool thought, but it was just...
Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Pretty awful.
Yeah. Well, the thing that killed it for me was Shia LaBeouf. That's when I heard he was in.
Killed it.
Well, that's the reason why I waited to come out on DVD.
I'm not a fan of Shia LaBeouf by any means.
You are. You're wearing his shirt right now.
He is not. Well, it was a gift, but he is not what kills that movie. That movie has
kills it for
lot
me.
Of problems.
I don't.
The CGI killed it for me, and also, it's pretty bad.
I would have much rather seen Elijah Wood be his son than Shia LaBeouf, and that's bad.
Well,
because he's a very effeminate. I think they should have made
it. It's fine for him to have a son, but the fact that he's like this bastard son that
greaser bastard
that Miriam never told him about is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if he was a nerd.
You think
the son would have been a nerd? Oh, father, we're gonna get hurt if we go down this. I think that would have been more interesting.
Why? You know what? His son should have just been Jar Jar Binks. That would have been good, right?
Oh, Mr. Skin. But that makes sense to me. That would have been a nerd, book nerd or something, that didn't know how to fight, didn't know how to sword fight.
You should call him Mr. Jones.
And was Asian.
So anyway, Iron Man 3, the Mandarin. The Mandarin has actually been sort of referenced in the first two Iron Man movies. Remember the terrorists that kidnapped Tony in the first movie were called the Ten Rings. That's a reference to the Mandarin. The Mandarin, I'm going to pop this up.
And those rings have magic to them. They're not the Infinity Gauntlet, but they're magical rings.
He has magic rings, and let's see. Each ring has a different power. There's an ice blast. There's a dark matter ring. a mind control ring, a disintegration beam, an electroblast, a vortex beam, a flame blast, an impact beam, a
Stun ring.
white light beam. I guess that's a flashlight.
Yeah.
And
In case he loses his keys.
a matter rearranger. That sounds almost too powerful to believe.
Yeah, so you're reading those to me, and I was like, how come this guy's isn't in more comic books and more powerful?
Well, because he's a racist caricature that everyone's too uncomfortable to bring back. Because he actually, another thing about this character is, he was big. He was basically, I think he's always been meant to be like Iron Man's Doctor Doom. And in a lot of ways he is. Mm-hmm. But he disappears. He's real big in the early issues when it was still Tales of Suspense. Mm-hmm. And then when it moves to Iron Man, he becomes more and more infrequent. And I think in the 80s, I think he's just gone for like 10 years straight.
It's because he fucked up. He pointed one of those rings at himself and anti-rearrange whatever shemale ring.
But yeah, that's what the 10 rings are. And in the second one, a member, like, he has like a 10 rings tattoo or something. I don't remember.
Iron Man?
This guy who's a member of the 10 rings in the second one gives
Sam Rockwell's character?
Not Sam Rockwell. What
Mickey Rourke?
Mickey Rourke's character.
Whiplash.
Some information on
Yeah.
Tony Stark.
Oh.
Actually, Mickey Rourke's character is weird because he's an amalgamation.
Isn't he like 3 people?
He's 2 characters in one. He's Whiplash, and he's another character called Crimson Dynamo. Mm-hmm. And he's actually basically Crimson Dynamo, a.k.a. Anton Vanko. That's his name in the movie. He's basically Anton Vanko, but with whips,
yeah.
And they call him Whiplash.
I thought that was cool. I wish they would have utilized that
just
more.
Went one or the other.
Yeah, but I wish they would have showed the whips more. I thought that was cool. Like him.
The racing scene is really cool.
Yeah.
Formula One racing scene.
I thought that was cool. And being in the theater with those things and the surround sound and stuff, that was pretty awesome. So
yeah, I mean, it's not a bad movie. Mm-hmm. It just kind of. I actually didn't like Sam Rockwell.
Really?
That movie, and I usually do, but he is just.
He's too dorky.
He's annoying.
Douchebag.
A lot of people, I liked him. I thought he was kind of annoying, but usually I really do like Sam Rockwell.
Right,
it's
right.
Just one movie I didn't really care for him.
The sun doesn't rise and set in his crotch, though.
How do you know?
I know. But I liked him because he played the part well, as like you really wanted to hate this guy, and he was a douchebag. He tried so hard to be like Tony Stark, and even in the movie, you could tell his fake tanning was bad.
Yes, that's very good.
That was funny.
The fake tanning, and he had like like the little penciled-in mustache.
Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty good.
That was funny. I like little things like that.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, and he tried to be so cool and James Bond.
And he was really bad at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take it back. He is kind of funny.
So he played the part well. That's why I liked him in it.
Actually, that character, to me, feels more like Iron Man's arch nemesis than the Mandarin. And, I really didn't know anything about the Mandarin until I was way older. Like, when I was a kid, I just knew Justin Hammer, and I thought Justin Hammer was the main villain.
Right.
And I think Justin Hammer is what kind of became the main villain later on. Mm-hmm. It kind of goes back and forth.
But wasn't he an older guy in the comic book?
Yeah, he was an old dude. Mm-hmm. I like that they made him younger in the movie. Mm-hmm.
They kind of made him more like a I don't want to say doppelganger, but something is yin to his yang. Mm-hmm. They were pretty much the same, but Tony Stark's the best out of both of them. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Still a douchebag, but not as big as douchebag.
Now this one also has another villain. I mean, the Mandarin is the main one, but there's like a henchman or something, or a mad scientist. Aldrich Killian. I know he was in the Extremists. He was like the creator of the Extremists thing. I don't really remember him at all, though.
Maybe we'll get to know him.
I hope so. But yeah, so the Mandarin, Let me see if I can pull this up. This is not the issue that we'll be reading. This is his origin issue, but I'm just gonna pull up a couple things about him. We're gonna run through two different ones. This is gonna be just real quick. Tales of Suspense, number 50. This is the introduction of the Mandarin. The reason why we're doing two is because this one doesn't have mail. And since last time, actually, I think twice in a row we didn't do mail.
Yeah, isn't our podcast about mail?
Yeah, so we need to get back to that.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really funny because the last one actually had mail in it. I just couldn't find it. But this
listeners
I've
have spoken.
Yeah, this one I've actually went through pretty well, and there is no mail. Although there is the Mike Marvel ad, which is my favorite. That will be a topic one of these days. But okay, so this is Tales of Suspense. It's a real short story with Iron Man. It's probably 12 pages, and the rest of them are just throwaway junk stories that suck. But Don Heck drew this. Let's see. So it starts off. Let's see if I can find. I'm trying to find a really funny part.
Look at my rings.
Yeah. I have rings.
And he looks different.
He looks.
Here.
Look at him. I mean, do you feel uncomfortable looking at him?
Yeah, I do.
Does it make you feel a little dirty, a little racist?
I feel like a dirty American. Well, my first introduction to the Mandarin, did not sound snooty, were the Marvel cards that were...
Yeah.
And he looks completely different than he does here.
Yeah, I think after a while they knew not to make him look like a...
He looks like Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China. That's what he reminds me of. And as I know, not here in this comic book.
Yeah, that's how they made him look like a real human being instead of this thing that people used to draw Asians.
Yeah, not a jerk.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find... Okay, so over here, right away, we have a caption over here. For years, men have spoken the name of the Mandarin in hushed whispers. To those of the Eastern world, he is little more. To those of the Western world, he is little more than a fearsome legend. But in the Orient, in seething, smoldering, secretive red China, men know to their sorrow how real the Mandarin is. That's what it really says.
Who wrote this?
Stan Lee.
Oh,
seething, smoldering, secretive red China. There you go. But so you look at him and he's racist and awful. And these early ones also have
it's a racist depiction and awful.
Pepper Potts and Happy Hogan are also in these a lot, and of course they're big. Well, at least Pepper is a big character in the movies. I think she kind of disappeared.
Oh, really?
In the comics, I think she became she was always a character, but she was always more of a background character. I don't know if she comes back later, in the 90s or something, but she kind of disappears.
I'd be curious to read. Because, now there's all sorts of Iron Man comic books. I'd be curious to see. And I haven't read them. I can't read everything. Curious to see if she's in it more along with Hogan.
Yeah.
Because if you noticed, I have picked up a couple. Tony Stark looks a lot like...
I bet they're I bet she's a major character nowadays after the movies. They always do that. Yeah. They do that a lot. They'll try to mimic the movies a lot. Now Hawkeye doesn't wear his purple uniform.
Yeah.
And somehow he looks exactly like Jeremy Renner nowadays.
Exactly. That's just a sell. I imagine, because Tony Stark looks a lot like Robert Downey Jr. now.
Yeah.
So.
And here's a panel where the Mandarin says, "And so, Iron Man," I imagine him speaking like Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
But he says, "And so, Iron Man, prepare to meet your finish at the hands of the greatest karate master of the world has ever known."
Oh, where will we find him?
So, and then he karate chops a steel beam.
Does it say hi-ya in there?
Actually, it doesn't.
Okay, well.
They took the high road.
That probably came up in discussion. Should I put Hi-Ya in there?
Too much.
Draw it back, Stan. Stan did these by himself, writing them, so he probably is talking to himself. Whoa, Stan. Hold it back, Tiger.
But, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the introduction. Not a whole lot happens.
He just kind of shows up. And
No, he doesn't even show up. Iron Man goes over there. He's like, I'm going to find out who this Mandarin is. And that's the way they wrote comics back then.
And that's how that is.
Throwing it together. The one we're going to be focusing more on is Iron Man number 57. Now, when Tales of Suspense, after a while, of course, it was half Iron Man, half Captain America. They shared a comic together. And at Tales of Suspense 99, they both branched off. You had Iron Man 1, and Captain America took over Tales of Suspense, and it was called Captain America number 100. So they both had, even though that's the first one, so they both had their own full comics at this point.
Oh, okay.
So this is Iron Man number 57, and at this point, the Mandarin is becoming more and more rare, but he pops in here.
I mean, I would think, what you told me about the rings, I would think he'd be in it more. It sounded like a fun thing to play off of.
Well, they just really, most of the villains that Iron Man faced were tech villains. And it's one thing with, and it kind of works with some of them, like Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo. Mm-hmm. And Titanium Man is okay, but after a while you get some really stupid ones that just the Unicorn. There's a guy
Hello!
There's a guy in a suit with a big horn on his head that shoots lasers, and his name is the Unicorn. And then you have the Porcupine, which I think actually started as an Ant-Man villain. And he wears this big ugly coat that shoots spikes. I mean, Iron Man seriously has some of the worst villains out there. I mean, they're just god awful.
They call me the Porcupine.
The Porcupine Man. So this one has the Mandarin.
He does some stuff.
Oh, one thing that's cool about the Mandarin, he also has a giant robot named Ultimo.
Ah.
And he's the robot or a giant android of some sort. It's huge. It's 50 feet tall. And it kind of looks like an old Chinese mythological thing. It's pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Looking. So he's got a pretty cool robot.
He's got that going for him.
Yeah, he does.
Now, does he control Fin Fang Foom as well?
No. Fin Fang Foom is one of the good Iron Man villains. He's a giant dragon, which, getting pretty out there.
Iron Man needs a villain. Give him a dragon.
Give him a dragon, yes. But they're both from China, but they are mortal enemies.
Oh, that's
they
me being racist.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is you being racist. You're an awful person. Oh, speaking of the Unicorn, he pops in at the end of this one.
Oh, my God.
I guess the Mandarin took off his shirt and started fighting Iron Man. We're too evenly matched, Iron Man, but this headband gives me powers you cannot conceive. I must have missed something there. And now I use it to summon what I have come to call the Mandarin's 11th ring. Oh, bullshit. So he has a ring on his head now. And then Iron Man says, "What the devil? It can't be. That looks like my old enemy, the Unicorn."
Dun, dun, dun.
So I guess in this one he wears a headband. I actually didn't read this one.
Kids were freaking out when that Unicorn guy popped up at the end. Well, and Mandarin took his shirt off.
Shane Black actually said, if I can pull this up, in regards to the Mandarin, maybe if I can't find the quote, I'll just paraphrase it. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And no, actually, it wasn't Shane Black. It was Kevin Feige or whatever his name is.
Feige.
The producer. And he's spot on when he says this. The Mandarin is Iron Man's most famous foe in the comics, mainly because he's been around the longest. If you look, there's not necessarily a definitive Mandarin storyline in the comics. So it was really about having an idea. And that is very true. He, because, to me, the definitive Iron Man story was Demon in the Bottle, and that had Jeff Bridges' character from the movie, Obadiah Stane, which is weird because that character dies at the end of the storyline. I mean, he doesn't stick around, like he's
right. Which I think is kind of cool that the movies are actually taking a character that wasn't a concrete, had a full background or people really cared about, and made them interesting. I think this thing.
Well, that's what they did with Iron Man in general.
Right.
I mean,
I would even go as far, as Bane, as well. Because if you go back, Bane had a story, but then after that, he just kind of disappeared. I mean, he was in stuff, but no one really cared enough to.
Yeah, that's kind of
follow
a good point. Yeah, because he does.
But the movies
after Nightfall, he does kind of disappear.
Yeah, and I think it's. Cookies.
Gotham.
What are we doing?
What are we doing with our
I
lives?
don't know. I'm about to read Socket to Shellhead.
Yes. Let's get started with some mail. And once again, this is...
Let's get crazy.
This is Iron Man number 57. Socket to Shellhead. That's what they call the mail here. They were out of ideas at this point.
Call it Socket to Shellhead.
So, let's see.
Shock it to me.
Sock it to me. Let's see.
Now you're being racist.
How?
We'll call this the racist episode.
Sock it to me?
I don't know.
Okay, here we go. Dear Roy, Mike, George, Jim, and Vince. That's Roy Thomas.
Vince.
I'm not sure who the others are. I probably would know, but whatever. Iron Man, alone, a hero, a true hero, one without neurosis or psychosis.
Oh boy.
A cautious but confident, hard-hitting but sensible hero. A hero who knows where both he and it are at. A hero worth his salt. And unhampered by a tortured love life. Yeah, I guess Pepper was out by this point.
Mm-hmm.
As almost all his romances so far have been. What he does being what he is, always with a purpose. And yet never selfish enough to see people in need of help and not stop to aid them. That's the Iron Man I like. One thing I do want to point out, Iron Man, probably more than any other superhero, has a lot of sex. He's the James Bond of
That's good to know.
Also, it's kind of funny because, I guess we didn't really go into it, but he's a total Batman ripoff. Except the difference is Batman acts like a playboy for his persona.
People, yeah.
Iron Man really is.
Right.
That's just the way he is. But, let's see. And that's the Iron Man that's back in issue 53. I'm glad he's back, and I'm grateful to Mike Frederick for bringing him back. The story, The Black Llama, was great. So great, in fact, that I can't think of anything bad to say about it. Not a single thing. So I'll just end by saying I don't think Raga should be brought back from the dead for another appearance or reappearance. He was great, but should remain in Iron Man's list of defeated one-shot villains. I look forward to the guest starring of the Submariner in next month's issue. Boy, have those two had some fights over the years. I look forward to the succeeding issues of Iron Man by Mike Frederick, and I wish there was more stories like the one in Iron Man number 53. No complaints. Wow. Sincerely, Lester Boteler from New Orleans.
Ah. Wow. This guy really likes Iron Man.
He really likes
this Iron Man, not that other one.
Not the pussy Iron Man. Not the pussy Iron Man who cares.
Not the one without balls.
And wow back, Les. 'Tis a great boost to our morale to receive a no complaints rave, though notch, it's equally helpful to read some healthy, constructive criticism, like Mike Lettner's missive below. You may be pleased to learn that now that Mike Frederick has successfully relocated in his native California, he's able to return to Shellhead scripting as of next issue, with a grateful tip of the hat to Steve Gerber's excellent interim tales. Gorgeous George said.
This guy's name dropping all over the place.
Gorgeous George stays on the art, of course. However, we've got a slight divergence of views regarding Tony's tortured love life. We feel it's because of the girls he's known and deeply involved himself with that he is the way he is. Cautious but confident, hard-hitting but sensible. So we don't plan to let up on the ladies in his life by any means. In fact, keep your eyes on the next couple of issues where some comics history-making developments are planned in the connection. Whew, that was hard.
I think that's when to talk about that. That's when they first do penetration.
Yeah, yeah. That's when we first started seeing penetration in Marvel Comics.
Stan Lee goes all the way this time, folks. Yes, full hardcore action, double penetration.
Iron Man finally gives it to Madam Mask.
Madam Mask. Feel my ray beam all over your back. That's awful. Now my kids can't listen to this one.
Nope.
All right, here we go. This one starts off. Dear people, in Iron Man number 53, one of your readers wrote in the letter pages his personal ideas about how your cover should look. Namely, the whole page filled with artwork, and no borders. Well, since you dropped the hat to any and all, I will put my 2 cents in happily.
Damn.
I agree with John Anderson, name dropping, that Marvel should drop the borders around their covers and go back to using a full cover filled with art. I will try to clarify my reasons with borders around the cover. I get the feeling you gents are limiting your artist, keeping them from filling up a whole cover with that beautiful, flourishing, and unlimited work Marvel is noted for. The border cramps everything into one small, overfilled area. I certainly can't appreciate good art if I have to strain my eyes to look for it. Please remove the borders, and I will be another satisfied customer of Mighty Marvel. Uh-oh, got a serviceman here. I'm going to stand up. Sergeant Mike Lettner.
Oh, he's part of the MMMS.
MMMS.
He was what? A
sergeant.
A sergeant of the MMMS?
Yes. And he sits here
is he a real sergeant, but just in the MMMS?
He might be a real sergeant. I don't know. But it says here he's from NY. Apo, New NY. I don't know what that means. Then here's the response. Mike, what can we say? Except tell you that after much discussion around the bullpen, we finally come around to agree with you and the numerous others who have written in, expressing the same opinions as is blasting apparent by now. Marvel's covers are exploding over the entire space available, and now that we're back, we're kind of wish we had more room. Take that, reader.
Damn.
We did what you said. No selling out here.
You're a kid. Write your own comic.
Get over it. It's a fucking comic book.
This one is addressed to Iron Man.
Dear Iron Man.
Iron Man. In Iron Man number 53, Mike Frederick had given us the new era's villain, no longer powered by the force of physical power, but by the power of mind. Obviously, Raga. I don't know who Raga is.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Another loser Iron Man.
If Scott was here, he would tell us.
Yeah, Scott would be like, well, Raga.
I'm going to say we lost Scott with that one.
Yep, he's not coming back. No, I'm kidding. We love you, Scott. Please come back.
Please.
But Raga was a renegade pupil of the Black Llama, sent forth on the mission of gathering,
berries.
On the mission of the gathering of wills, only because he was fiery enough to collect such people. The Black Llama cannot be evil, because he knows of the karmic balance he faces. Perhaps
Stupid.
He renders no good either. Witness his abstinence from the battle in issue 53. I see no reason why such particularly excellent characters continue to play minor roles and bit parts in your magazines. There's nothing wrong with slanting a story to some character other than the title character once in a while. Nonetheless, thanks to Mr. Frederick, and I remain yours until the Black Llama has tea with the Ancient One. That's from Don Tyler. Wow, he's a real weirdo. Okay, this is from Don Tyler, president, and whatever to Wyatt Wingfoot fan club. From this is funny. Little Ark Rockin' Saw. I want to see if this dude is on Facebook. He's the president. I'm going to repeat this. He is the president, and whatever happened to Wyan Wingfoot fan club?
We gotta look that up.
Little Ark Rockin' Saw.
Oh my God!
What a hilarious human being.
Anyone that says "dear fictional character,"
yes. Jesus. Jesus.
Do you want me to respond to this? This guy's a nut job.
Well, here's the response. Wyatt Wingfoot. Where have we heard that name before?
I don't know. It sounds like a Flash
you know what that
thing.
is?
I don't know. Wingfoot.
I don't know.
Wing on the
What the
foot.
hell?
I don't know.
Yeah. From his thundering horde of fans, that's where, and Marvel never argues with a crowd of true believers. So, upcoming Fantastic Four issues will once again showcase the return of one guess. I'm going to guess Dr. Doom.
I'm going to guess Galactus.
Damn it. We were both wrong.
Damn it.
It was a Submariner.
Ah!
So, I don't know.
Does he have
I'm
winged
guessing
feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
I would think webbed foot. I don't know.
Well, you'd think.
Yeah.
You'd think.
He's-
But the 30s or 40s were weird.
Yeah.
That's how old he is. He's from the 40s. But let's see.
Submariner?
Mm-hmm. He's older than Captain America.
How dare you?
But back to Iron Man, huh, people? We can't really agree that the Black Llama cannot be evil. An awareness of the universal karmic balance does not preclude an attempt to shape the forces of karma to one's own ends, which is pretty much where we figure Black Llama is at. You may have noticed the reason the Black Llama deserted Raga was because his disciple deviated from his plans and thus brought destruction on himself. We're sure Black Llama still harbors his plans of world domination, and we're equally sure, therefore, that we'll be seeing him again, battling a Marvel hero out to stop him. I've never heard of these characters.
No, it's one thing I'm realizing. You have to appreciate Marvel taking these letters and then responding and standing up for what they did. Because, like you said, in a lot of DC comic books, there's not mail. And I imagine they got mail, but they got mail like this and just didn't want to respond to it.
The Supermans from this time had mail.
Had mail.
Well, maybe it's the 50s.
Maybe just because Marvel was doing it.
They might have stopped then, yeah. Because I know, like, the Batmans that we were reading from the 80s didn't have any mail.
Right. Because I imagine it takes a lot to, like, sit down and respond to that and stand up for what you wrote and explain it to them.
And keep in mind, these are a few years later. This is actually from the early 70s, I think. Mm-hmm. So Stan Lee is no longer writing and reading his own mail.
I ain't got time for this.
Let's see, but there is a Stan soapbox if you have time for that.
We do.
You can read it.
Oh, okay, sure. Stanley's soapbox. It worked, gang. You proved that you really do read the nutty news, notes, and nonsense, which we try to cram into these pulsating pages each month. For the past few issues, we've been socking it to you with our memorable mentions of the latest Marvel mystery known as Foom. We hope some of you would notice, and we figured we might even get a letter or two asking what Foom was all about. But never in our wildest, wackiest flights of fancy could we have anticipated the fantastic flood of mail with which you've bombarded us demanding an explanation. So, okay, the time hath come to pierce the veil of secrecy and illuminate the Stygian darkness of most, good God, Stan, ignoble ignorance. And yet, Foom is too much fun, too zingy a secret to blow the whole bit in this one column. Instead, let's uncover just a part of that, the awesome answer, and keep the suspense swinging a while longer. Foom is a name composed of the first letters of our 4 special words. 2 of those words are of and Marvel. The other 2, see if you can guess what they are by next-ish. If you can, consider yourself no prized. And don't breathe a word of it, or we'll drum you out of the corpse. If you can't, don't despair. You won't be deprived of the agonizing answer much longer. So till next time, keep the faith, face front, and don't do anything Foom wouldn't do. Excelsior!
Okay, that's interesting because when we did the MMMS episode, I did some research, and Foom was basically the 70s version of that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it stands for. That might be something we'd bring up next time.
Fantastic orgy of men. That's the first thing that popped in my head. I don't know why.
Well, I know why.
Why?
You saw that at a video store earlier.
Did I?
Yeah.
I was at the video store.
Yeah. It was at Family Video.
Well, I was going to say, I was listening to a podcast with Stan Lee and Kevin Smith, and they talked about the MMMS and trying to get people to become fans. And it was his way of having fun with the fans.
Yeah.
And like when he says no prized here, if you got no prize, that means you got a letter from Marvel with nothing in it.
Yeah.
And so I thought it's fun. I mean, they're not.
Well, and I think that's the thing. That, like back then, it was fun, and I think that's what Marvel is. I mean, the movies are good, but I think that's kind of what Marvel's missing nowadays. And maybe with Facebook and Twitter,
right?
It's getting better. I don't know, but
Stan has his own. Stan has his own YouTube channel where they do stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if not daily, at least weekly.
Yeah.
And so Stan's still out there selling Marvel away. You know, I'd like to see the MMMS come back. I'd join. I
want to be a member.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna next time I go out to like a show out at the Coliseum. I'm gonna look for some MMMS buttons. And
stuff. Tell me when you go. I want to go.
Okay.
Hope that picked up.
So Mandarin. Is there anything else you think we should cover about the Mandarin?
I think
that's about all I know.
I know. I think it's sad.
I'm pretty excited about Ben Kingsley, though. He does look really cool.
It looks like a very fun movie, and I can't wait to see it. And I'm glad that all this excitement about a character that no one really cared about is starting to surface.
Isn't that something? Because even I know Iron Man was always big in the amongst Marvel fans, and maybe I don't even know if I'd say even amongst comic book fans in general. I think he was kind of big in his own little clique. But I mean, outside of that, even he's no Superman or Spider-Man or Batman or anything. But I mean, even like Wolverine and Hulk and Thor, I think were way more at least well known than Iron Man was.
Right. But now that's changed with the movie. I think that movie
now has
made him a standout character. Yeah.
He is, yeah.
Exactly. Granted, I didn't follow his whole comic book career.
No one did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and it's not bad by any means, but I mean, there are things when you read it, there are things that stand out that make you think, I mean, I can see why this wasn't super popular. They made a lot of good changes when they went to the movies. I think I do think Extremis came out right before the first movie. Well, maybe not right before, but a couple years before. And I know some of the changes that were adapted into the film come from that.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, though, but some of them do. And I think, that character really needed to be redone.
Right.
Like, I mean...
What's a character you want to see redone to make the movie to make that character popular again? Because I know you like Moon Knight.
I have a friend who really likes Moon Knight. A character I would like to see... Flash, I think, is perfect the way he is. I just want to make a fucking Flash movie already.
Yeah.
Someone like, the fishy guys, like Aquaman or Namor, both of them could...
Right.
Both of them. And actually, Namor... It's funny how they're not even talking about making a Namor movie, yet they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell are the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Exactly.
I mean, I know who they are, but...
I mean, they got some decent actors attached to as the leads in that. I'm going to go see
Doctor Strange movie.
That'd be cool.
That would really be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird how we're even thinking about a Namor or Doctor Strange movie. I mean, that's not something that anyone would have even thought about before.
Right. Well, I think we want to see that because we saw what they did with Iron Man.
Yeah.
And how they made him, like, as popular as he is. And we will hope the same can be done because we had high hopes for Daredevil and Punisher and Ghost Rider, and those just kind of...
I actually saw the Thomas Jane Punisher movie not too long ago on, like, Fox or something. Mm-hmm. It's not as bad as I remember. I think the thing is, it's not a good movie, so you don't want to see it in theaters. Mm-hmm. But it's a good, like, sitting at home with nothing to do movie. Like, it's kind of fun to watch. I mean, it's not a good movie, but it's not horrible either.
Right.
Like, it's just kind of misguided, I think.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to see...
Punisher's a hard sell, too.
Yeah.
Because, and I think here's the problem with that movie, is that, they want to make a serious movie. Like, they want to do the revenge thing like Death Wish or Dirty Harry. Mm-hmm. And I think they had a bigger budget, so they wanted to make it a little serious, like Scarface, or not that I'm putting those two on the same.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, they still treated it. They still also had to treat it like a franchise movie. Yeah. And I think that's what killed it. You either go one way or you go the other. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't have it both ways. And I mean, the character's not a very...
If you think about it...
it's pretty violent. Like, you really gotta just not treat him like a franchise. Just treat it like a movie.
And if you think about it, it's...
And I think they tried to do it, but...
Yeah, it's a Batman. He's a vigilante, but without the money and the charisma. He's like a... Well, maybe I take that.
No, to me, Batman is a superhero.
Right.
But
if you think about it, he's on the same level as a Punisher. They both have somewhat gadgets, and they can fight. And
see, I don't consider, and I guess I didn't read too much of it, but I don't really consider the Punisher to be a hero.
He's more of a vigilante.
A superhero. Yeah. It's just a comic book about a vigilante. I don't consider him like a superhero, and I don't think they should try to make it a superhero movie. But yeah. So anyway, Iron Man 3. We're counting down the days. We're really excited. Mm-hmm. We hope that it doesn't fail us. I've been scorned before.
Spider-Man 3.
That movie, honestly, I knew that movie would suck anyway.
No, you didn't. That's why you saw it 15 times.
Shh. So yeah, that pretty much covers it. Probably our next episode that we'll have, unless... We've got some that haven't been posted yet, but if we go in order, they will be posted, if that makes sense. Hopefully the next one we do will be after Iron Man, after we see it. And we do promise that there won't be spoilers in it. So we'll just talk about it.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't have... It'll be a hard... I'm thinking, because we'll want to talk about stuff, and then we can't.
There will be a lot of this... Remember that? But no, you can't say it.
That'll be the whole episode. Yeah. 2 hours of that.
Can we say that?
Can I? Can I say that?
Can I say that?
Can I say that the Mandarin turns into the Crimson Dynamo?
No. No.
And the Iron Patriots actually is Norman Osborn. And well, all right.
All right. Well, tune in next time, true believers. See you later.
Good closing.
Yeah, I know, right?